It's because I think that somewhere along the line, there's some insecurity that they need to sound like they're smarter.
Back to episode 23 of the Masters Muscle podcast. Unfortunately, Porter Cottrell had a conflict this evening, so he will be back. He promises that he wants to come on the show. So tonight, it's open Q&A, anything on the record, off the record, for our good friend, Vinny Galanti. Vinny, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. Glad to be on the show.
Glad to be on your own show.
Thanks for having me.
Man, so you trained legs today. You going to feel it tomorrow or what?
I'm
So your
feeling it right
Instagram
now.
post earlier.
Today was epic. Today was over the top.
So now, when you do strenuous leg days like that, do you foam roll? I mean, what do you do afterwards to kind of limber them up?
So, before I got started, I waited. I was training with a new guy today, Marty, who's opening a gym in Jersey City, and we've been talking. He's a friend of my, Billy Scarnati's, and we just started talking. And I invited him to come train legs. I knew he was super strong, so I knew this would be a good workout, and I knew he'd push. Juan trained also, so it was the three of us. And I got into the gym. I rode the bike for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Then I loosened up a little bit, and then I foam rolled for probably like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and then light stretching.
Yep.
And some light hamstring work and like body weight squats.
Okay.
So I had about 25 minutes of warming up before they even got there. And I just took my time.
There was a meme I saw the other day. That's how you know you're getting old, when the warm up is the same time as the workout itself.
Yeah, but it's got to be done. It's been part of my program since I, started competing again back in 2017. Warming up is a priority.
Yep.
Yeah, so
we want to thank everybody to submitting a bunch of questions here. It's going to kind of be rapid fire tonight. I'll be questioning, and Vinny will be giving us his opinions, good, bad, different. But Vinny, first question for tonight: who were your bodybuilding inspirations?
That's easy. Frank Zane. Obviously Arnold too, but I remember when my father brought home a weight set back in like 81 or 82, 1981, 80 or 82. There was a box came with this like calendar, and one side was Arnold and one side was Frank Zane.
Okay.
And everybody, the name, it was cool to post it up Arnold. So I had it facing Arnold on the outside, and then as I was working out and developing my physique as a young teenager, I started to notice that I gravitated more towards Frank Zane's physique, and I turned that calendar around, and that was the guy, Frank Zane. And I knew, and even my father, he was like, "That's the physique. You're never going to get that big because you're not 6 foot tall, unless some miracle happens and you become, I've been 5'6", 5'7" since I'm a kid, and we're not very tall in the Galanti family, except on my mother's side. On the Mazzucaro side, they were all tall. All my cousins were tall. I always wished I was tall like my cousins, but I got the Galanti side. I got the short side.
So even at 12 or 13, you're already accepting that you were going to be a smaller guy, that you didn't aspire to be the big guy like Arnold?
No, I accepted that I wasn't going to be 6 foot.
Okay, all right.
There's a difference.
Okay.
There's a difference. So I listen, we all want to get big, right? So, I've been training my whole life trying to get big, but you have to be realistic. And at some point, you have to know that you're training. You can't compete against other people. You have to train what works for your physique, and you have to be true to that. There's been times throughout my career I went against the grain and had like stupid injuries and stuff. But for the most part, I've trained within my own lane, and I'm 100% in my own lane currently in the last few years.
Okay.
And that's what's given me the success that I've had. So
Gotcha. So what bodybuilder or bodybuilders blew your mind when you met them? I'm assuming maybe size or just kind of awe.
oh, that's easy. The first time, so I won my weight class in the 93 USA.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, my wife says, girlfriend at the time, she's like, so I had photo shoots lined up from Sunday to Tuesday, and I had never done that before. So I had this, the first time ever having to stay on a diet, right? I couldn't eat Saturday night. I had to stay on the diet, and I was so looking forward to Tuesday night after it was over, so
Mm-hmm.
I could, like, enjoy myself. So she's like, she comes into the gym. I'm doing a photo shoot on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And she says, I got good news and I got bad news. I'm like, what's the matter? She said, well, bad news is you can't go off the diet yet. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? Good news is on Thursday, you're doing a photo shoot for Joe Weider's Muscle and Fitness, and Lou Ferrigno is going to be there. So he was making his comeback at the Olympian, and I walk into this photo shoot, and at the time, this guy Mark was one of my training partners, and he was there. And Mark was 6'4", like 240, 250,
Okay.
big guy, a football player kind of build,
Yep.
and a power lifter, but he was tall. And he stood behind Lou Ferrigno, and you couldn't see Mark. That's how big Lou Ferrigno was. And when Lou Ferrigno walked in, his gym bag looked like a little purse. No, I'm not joking. It was
Yeah.
it was a normal sized gym bag. This guy is carrying it, and it looked like he was holding his little purse. And it was pretty epic. It was probably one of the most epic people, one of the most epic things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And he was, and excuse my French, fucking enormous, just enormous.
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody like that since, except like, I've seen Dorian Yates and I've seen Ronnie Coleman in person, and that's a different kind of muscle. But when you saw Lou Ferrigno, it was 6 something and just 6 feet wide too. So that was like a monster.
Because when he came back for the 91 or 92, I think they said his stage weight was like 315. So if that was valid and you saw him, you could just imagine if he was that, if not bigger, at that
Well,
weight.
I think 93 was his comeback.
Maybe 93. Okay.
93, yeah, because that was the year I won the USA, and
Yeah.
so I had to stay on my diet until Thursday. And it was funny, like after we got done with that photo shoot on Thursday, I had no desire to eat anything bad. I got past it. I remember that. I was like, I don't want to eat anything. I want a salad. Everybody was like, a salad? I'm like, yeah, I'm in the mood for a salad.
So did you talk to him at all, or was it just kind of just niceties and kind of just going your way?
So to this day, I still have no idea what I'm going to tell you a story, and I don't know if he was breaking my balls or if he was legit. So you got to remember, this is 1993. There were no protein powders in a sense. There was no meal replacement powders. There was nothing like that. And protein powders weren't thought of as a means to get in your meals, right? It wasn't thought of it back then. So I said to him, hey, do you have any tricks or anything, I want to put size on after this when I get home. And he says to me, in a blender, a can of tuna fish, a banana, peanut butter, oatmeal, and I think a scoop of protein powder. And I couldn't wait to go back to the hotel because we had a kitchen, and I did it, and I almost gagged on this thing. I was like, my friends are like, he's jerking your chain. He's not telling. Who the hell would drink that?
But remove the tuna. Everything else is pretty standard, but you had that tuna.
But maybe after I drank that, that's why I didn't have an appetite to eat anything.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I don't
That's
know.
too funny.
Yeah.
So somebody's asked. So another person here: Billy's or World Gym in Bayonne?
Oh well, both had a place in my heart. So Billy's was my first gym ever, right? I met lifelong friends there. To this day, I keep in touch with people from Billy's. I learned so much there from this guy, John, who was a power lifter. I learned so much from John Natashak, who was training for the Masters. I'm sorry, for the Nationals and World Championships. Oh God, so many other guys. Chuck Waldron, who was on the AAU side, competing in the Mr. America, Mr. World, Mr. Universe on the AAU side, I believe the NABA side. And John and Chuck were both competing at the same time. And, you know, behind their backs, people would have debates like, who's better, John or Chuck? And they had their camp, you know. And I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just was like, they're bodybuilders to me. I don't know what this organization stuff is. Yep. Because I was able to, like, when I started competing, I was able to compete in the AAU and the NPC because they both existed. Didn't know the difference at the time. But then Billy's closed somewhere around 86 or 87. And then I started going to World Gym. And I remember, oh my God, I can't believe I actually remember the guy's name. I'm not going to say his name, but he was just an asshole to me. And he just was a jerk off. And I didn't get along with him. I used to go to the gym at you know, on Broadway at World, and we'd always argue. He loved breaking my balls. I mean, it was a different time, and you know, guys today could never ever they couldn't keep up with or even put up with the ball breaking that went on back in the 80s, the 80s and 90s. It just, I mean, it was basically sheer abuse to piss you off to train harder. I have fond memories of it. It's, I mean, amazing stuff. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Let's see. So, questions to ask or things to look for when hiring a coach?
Good question. So, one of my biggest pet peeves with a coach, with any athlete, and I say this to people. All right, let's fast forward for a second to currently right now. I'm working with Fakri for the Olympia. And Fakri said to me, Vinny, you have a winning formula. You've been doing well in the last couple of years. All the shows you're going in, you're pretty much peaking, and you know you have a track record. He said to me, you have eight wins. Last year was not my year. I was tired, and that's another story. And I didn't put my all into that. But for the most part, he knows that I have kind of this winning formula. And he said to me, why would I change that? I'm going to be your eyes. And then as the prep goes on, if I feel to make a judgment call to say you need to eat more or less, or so that a good coach isn't going to brainwash an athlete that his way is the only way to work. Okay. If the person doesn't know what they're doing, then I can see a coach saying, we're going to start with A, B, and C and move forward. But if the competitor already has years under their belt and they've had success, the first thing the coach should be like, listen, I'm your eyes. Because the coach, see, these coaches think that they need to sell something. They need to sell their way, sell their training methods and philosophies and methodologies and all that stuff. Listen, everything works. And that's what people miss out on. You should experiment with every type of training modality that there is. You should be training heavy. You should be training supersets. You should be training drop sets. You should be training to failure. You should be doing 4-day splits. You should be doing 3-day splits. You should be doing 2 on, 1 off. You should try it all because it all works. The coach should be a guide. I mean, like, look at any other sport. A coach doesn't take Tom Brady and say, we're going to change everything that you've done and you're going to throw the ball a different way. It doesn't work that way. So why in bodybuilding do coaches do this? It's because I think that somewhere along the line, there's some insecurity that they need to sound like they're smarter. Not all coaches do this, but I just think like sometimes you should be really like, if you're doing it right, there's not really much to do.
Sure.
There's really not much. The same thing that got guys in shape in 1990 is the same damn thing that gets people in shape in 2023. It hasn't changed. You can't reinvent the wheel. I just spoke to a competitor, and I won't mention his name, I won't mention his coach's name, but he came up to me the other day and he asked me, can you give me some feedback on how I placed in the Atlantic States and how I looked? Yeah. And we were talking, and then he told me that his coach told him to go eat at two different specific places to see what would happen. Well, everything backfired and the kid didn't place very well.
So this was prior to the show. Go eat like this before the show.
Yes.
Okay.
Why would you do that? Why would you take a gamble on seeing? Well, I would have done that 4 weeks before the contest.
Yeah.
I don't like these gimmicks, and most of my guys that train for shows. I just had my nephew compete. Juan competed, and this kid Jack competed.
Yeah.
They all peaked really well, really, really good. Could they do better? Sure, everybody could do better. And we'll learn as we go with each show. But for the most part, no, I'm not even gonna say for the most part. For the whole entire prep, leading up to walking on stage, they didn't cut their water, they didn't cut their sodium. We just manipulated carbs because the sodium gives you the pump. Once you pull that sodium out, your muscles go flat. And if you're on your diet strict enough, you're not going to look like you're holding water. I mean, I don't ever cut my sodium out, and I'm hard as nails going into a show. I just think experimenting is the worst thing to do. When you're in shape, ride it into the show. And I also think that I try to get my guys, and I hope this isn't getting away from the question, but
no, go.
What I like to do, and I said to Juan when we were first getting ready, I said, Juan, the way you looked on stage last year, I would like to see you at a certain point way before the show so we can improve on conditioning. And it didn't, that didn't apply for Jack because that was Jack's first show. And my nephew hasn't competed in a little over 6 or 7 years. So it was kind of like starting all over again. But for the most part, I would say people don't realize how simple prep should be. Yeah. Should it be hard? Yes. And could it be grueling? And could you become miserable doing it? Yeah, you could be miserable because if you're doing it right, there's a few days out of the week during the prep, you're going to be going on very low carbs. And then you bring your carb. There's a whole rotation I put together with my guys, and it seems to work rather well. Keeping it really simple.
So did you learn what you're doing now? Because I'm on the same thing. You've got me on high carbs, low carbs throughout the week. Is that something you learned yourself, or did you learn that from somebody else and kind of start working on it?
So going back many years ago in the 90s, I worked with Maz Ali. And Maz was one of my coaches at the time. He was one of I used Maz for a long time. And, people today need all this structure, written it out and details, right? So this is the way Maz would do it. And this is the way it was back then. Maz would get a piece of paper. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And he'd list out 1 to 6. Meal 1, he'd just write a P and a C, meant protein and carbs. Okay. We didn't talk about if you're getting 500 grams of carbs. We didn't talk about 300, 100 grams. It wasn't anything like that. It was just have a cup of oatmeal and egg whites and 2 whole eggs. And then meal 2, and I'm making this up right now. Yeah. Meal 2 would be a cup of rice, grilled chicken breast, and a cup of broccoli. Meal 3 would be like a baked potato and some steak and some asparagus. Meal 4 will be some fish. A serving, nothing crazy, and a sweet potato, a medium sweet potato, and then the last meal will be no carbs, just vegetables with protein. And then you would see like Monday would be P and C, and then P. So like you're going low carbs now.
Yep.
There was no like, well, should I get 100 grams of carbs or should I get? It was just eat a cup of oatmeal, and then eat a cup of rice for the second meal, and then it's protein and carbs. And then as the week would go on, it would increase in carbs. It was simple. You couldn't get any more simple than that. And could you imagine if Maz did that today, or if I did that today with a client, just gave him a piece of paper like that? They'd be like, "You suck. I need more attention. I need you to contact me every day. I need to send you pictures every day." No, it's overkill.
Yeah.
I do get sometimes a neurotic person who sends me pictures every day, and I have to tell them to stop. You're not changing that much that fast.
Yeah.
So Maz would look at us, look at me going into the nationals. Could be every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks. There was no stress back then. It was just so easy. And that's the way I learned. So sometimes when I come off with these guys and I'm like, chill, relax. They're like, what are you talking about? I can't relax. Everybody on Instagram is putting pictures up. And I think social media has warped the whole process. Put a lot of strain on people getting like neurotic for no reason at all. No reason at all.
Because you probably don't remember, but when you started helping me back in March, you're like, hey, send me what you're eating, yada yada yada, and I literally sent you like 2,200 calories, 40% this, 40, and you're like, dude, what the French are you sending me? Why are you counting calories?
You got to keep it simple. Keep it simple, stupid.
Keep it short and sweet. Yeah. So going on the whole diet principle, whether you're a competitor like us or soon to be competitor like me or the average person, how long should someone stay on a diet to see results before changing? I might not be asking that right, but
it's a great question. That's a great question. So a lot of times it takes a while for your metabolism to kick in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So even when I was younger, I wouldn't see much results. So I started prep 12 weeks out. I wouldn't see much results until week 6-ish.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, week 7, things would like, boom, all of a sudden start happening. And people get frustrated very quickly where you don't see any progress in 2 weeks and this isn't working and change everything. You're not giving it a chance to work. People don't give it a chance and get frustrated very, very quickly. Now that I'm 56 years old, I start my diet a lot sooner so that I have control over it. Like my goal this year was to be in one of my best conditions as a masters competitor. I looked better, younger, longer, right? Because I was just younger.
Yep.
And that's the way it is. So I wanted to be at right now when I did my progress pics this past Sunday, and I compared them to other years. I'm happy with starting my prep in better condition.
Yep.
Right. So I wanted my metabolism to be working at 12 weeks out, not at 8 weeks out.
Okay.
So I think competitors should give themselves I think preps should start at 20 weeks out, because if you're giving it 100% at 20 weeks out to 12 weeks out, that's 8 weeks to know if it's working or not.
Yep.
And you don't have to do carb rotation. You don't have to do any of that. If you're just going to get a steady baseline of carbs, let's say, I'm just picking a number.
Yeah.
If you know you're getting around 350 grams of carbs a day in your off season, then start out at 250 a day, 250 grams of carbs a day. You should drop body fat and become a lot tighter, and your metabolism should be kicking in pretty good at 12 weeks out.
Okay.
Maybe 200 grams. I don't know. You got to find your happy spot. And then you can start maybe manipulating carbohydrates at that point.
So what would you tell let's just say the soccer mom, the dad bod, the executive that's wanting to lose some weight? Give it a month before you switch, or what would you tell them?
I don't work with them.
Okay, and never mind then.
I don't work with them. I stopped working with people who were not competitors a long time ago because they're the ones that drive any, like there's coaches out there, there are bodybuilders out there that do it, but I stuck to my guns and said I only want to train bodybuilders.
Okay.
And I'm doing very well with it. I have a lot of online clients and people I get in shape and ready for a show.
Yep.
It's I don't have the patience for it. But
Do you have any female athletes?
Starting with one, right? I used to, and I have a new girl going to start doing a wellness show. She wanted to compete in the summer, and I said, "There's absolutely no way I could give you 100% of my time. I'm going to be in prep for the Olympia, and I know that I'm going to slack, and I don't want you to think I'm a horrible coach. So if you can wait until November, fantastic. Or if you're set on going with July, then I understand that if you want to go with another coach, you got to be open-minded. So, but for the sedentary person who's looking to lose body fat, you just got to be. See that normal people don't understand what we do, and what we do is having a structured, consistent plan. Right? So we're consistent every day, all week, all month.
Yep.
For 3, 4, 5 months. The average person gets frustrated very quickly, and the average person skips meals.
Yeah.
And we don't. We understand we need meals. The normal person doesn't understand that, and they just focus on losing weight, where we focus on getting in condition, and the weight, whatever falls off, that's a secondary thing.
Yep. Okay. So how is your prep mental attitude for this different from previous competitions?
Well, that's a great question. So back in 2017, a lot of who follow me know that my first contest back was the Masters Baltimore Pro, and in a long series of years of not competing, and especially coming back from my rotator cuff surgeries, I placed dead last, and I did the show again in 2018, Masters Baltimore Pro, and I took dead last. So I reached out to a few local coaches, and I've told the story in the past. I'll say it again. Some of them just wouldn't work with me. From telling me my better days are behind me, to they were retiring and they had no time for me, to blatantly saying, one coach blatantly told me, "I can't work with you, Vin. I can't work with you because you're on a losing streak, and it just seems that your body's not working anymore."
Or he didn't want to tarnish his name by putting his name attached.
He didn't want to tarnish his. He told me that. He said, "I don't want to work with you because you're not getting in shape, and it just seems like your metabolism is slowed down. My skin on my stomach was bad at the time. It was really bad." And that's going to segue into the other question I know we put up. I sent you about loose skin. So my skin on my stomach was really bad, and he chewed me out for it. And he said, "Look, at your body is old. You're not productive anymore." Well, let me tell you, man. I had a chip on my shoulder. I just had like laser-like focus on the Masters Pittsburgh Pro, and I just was like, "Oh, you don't want to help me? You don't want to help me? Okay. I know now your guys." So these 3 coaches had competitors, actually 2, maybe 3. They had competitors going into the Masters Pittsburgh Pro, and I was on a mission to just ruin their
dominate.
day. Yeah, I wanted to ruin their day. I actually more focused on being the best I could be, But that energy I got from them, I used it
Yep.
to fuel my workouts and my mental fortitude, in the sense of like just being focused for the show.
Yeah.
And you know, it was funny because I win the over 50 and the over 40 that night. And I remember walking out into the everybody who's been in the shows, in the Masters Pittsburgh Pro, Masters Nationals, you know, when you're coming out of the pump up area and you're walking down the hall, in a sense, and the bathrooms are on your right. There's one guy who was standing right there, and I thought we were going to have a moment. I thought we were going to have like this moment. I thought he was going to say to me, "Congratulations," and he just turned his head and wouldn't look at me. And I stopped, and I wanted to like punch him in the head. I did. I wanted to punch him in the head, and I thought, just like, what's that saying? Frank Sinatra says,
Did it your way?
What?
I was saying, I thought you were going to say, I did it my way. Did it your way?
No, it says the best revenge is massive success.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a quote by Frank Sinatra. And I'm going to leave this one alone. I accomplished what I had to accomplish. So did my thing. And I used that for mostly, you know, like a lot of my shows. And now, fast forward, I'm at peace with myself. I'm okay with those guys. Going into the Masters Olympia, I mean, think about this. I mean, it's like coming from 2017 and 2018, coming in dead last, to now winning 8 Masters Pro shows. Who am I going to get pissed off at? I mean, it's like, I got nothing to be mad at. I'm happy. I'm grateful. I'm blessed. And I have such a great support team. I got, you know, great people in the gym working with me, and, you know, there's nothing negative. And, you know, we're 19 guys picked out of X amount, hundreds of people.
Yep.
That's an honor within itself. And, you know, it's my first time going to be on the Masters any Olympia stage. I'm excited beyond belief, and I'm just using the good energy to get through my training. And I'm not here to prove to anyone. It's really improving it to myself.
Yep.
You know, so I'm really cool with how this prep is going and how my mindset is.
So Vin, I know, like when we talk offline and here, like you never try to aspire to go after somebody. Like all the pros nowadays, you know, I want to measure up to Dorian. I want to measure up to this person, that person. Were you always like that? Even when you started saying, look, I don't want to be as big or go after X competitor? Were you always in your lane for yourself?
I always stayed in my own lane. And you have to understand, back in the 90s, when I was doing the nationals and the USAs and all of that, we did not have the access to see these guys.
Yeah.
Now they have access to see them all day long, right? But listen, I'm not going to tell you that I don't go on their Instagram and see what they're doing, right?
Of course.
So, you know, I have to stay in my own lane. What works for me works for me. And what works for me definitely won't work for those guys. And what works for them won't work for me. So there's no sense in like beating my head against the wall thinking, oh, I got to do what they're doing to be competitive. And it's not the case. I'm just going to do my thing, train the way I train. Really, you know, I guess the best way to answer that a little bit better would be, I want to present myself as an Olympian at the Masters Olympia.
Yep.
I have a certain image and way I want to conduct myself. And those are more along the lines of like a Lee Labrada, a Sean Ray, even a Flex Wheeler, to Lee Haney. Like those are the guys that I grew up with, right? And I always felt like those were men. They were classy guys. They brought a different element to the stage at the Olympia. And, you know, like the amazing posing routines that Sean Ray did, to Dream Girls, to Keith Washington, the music that he used, to Lee Labrada doing all of those mixes like 5-minute posing routines, different songs, Flex Wheeler getting the crowd going, doing a split and all that stuff, right? So I have this, like, I'll hear a song right now and I'll like, oh, this is gonna be a great posing routine. And then I hear another song, I'm like, oh wait, that's even better. So I want to conduct myself on that level of professionalism at the Olympia.
Yep.
So I'll strive to that.
So talking about music, so at what point do you, Vinny, say, okay, I'm not listening to any more songs. That's my song. 10 weeks, 8 weeks. When do you get all the noise of songs?
So I think I have my song already.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
but I'm not gonna,
That's fine.
talk about it. Especially, it's not a big deal. It's just because I could change my mind. I could change my mind. But I have my song. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be good. I won't start putting my routine together probably until about 4 weeks out, because I know at about 4 weeks out, my waistline is gonna be streamlined, my Christmas tree will be out, everything will be out, and then I can say, okay, these are the poses. Excuse me. These are the poses that are gonna complement my physique.
Yep.
Because I was stuck a few weeks ago on what am I gonna do, because I can't get into certain positions anymore because of the 14 anchors in my shoulders.
Sure.
So I have to not compensate, but my wheelhouse of poses have been kind of like shortened. Yep. I've been chopped down. So I don't have a large selection. I've been kind of like realizing there's other poses that I could do that I didn't even know I could do, which is kind of cool, because it took me out of my comfort zone of the poses that I was comfortable with and forced me to seek out other poses in my posing routine.
Yep.
So, but I do have a song, and I also have 3 others that are on the back burner, and they could change because of how I'm going to look in 11, in 8 weeks, 9 weeks.
So now, will Fock be your eyes for posing, or do you have someone you go to help you with posing?
Yeah, when I see him, yeah, we'll get into that.
Okay.
And pose.
Got it.
But
Okay.
I'm if it's one thing that I could do really well, it's pose.
Yep.
But practicing posing is probably the hardest part of the whole entire prep. So this week at 12 weeks out, tomorrow I'll do it. I did it on Monday. So I do Monday and Thursday, the first 2 weeks, just 5 minutes. I will do every quarter turns and the mandatories from each side, even the side that I won't do.
Sure.
Because the whole point of practicing your posing is to have condition on stage, so you're not winded. The second point of posing is because it adds a hardness to your physique, and there's a graininess that it's contracting and holding those poses for, I start now 5 to 10 seconds, like 3 to 5 sets of 5 to 10 seconds of each pose. And then next week, I'll make sure that I'll do it for 20 minutes up until 8 weeks out.
Yep.
And then at 8 weeks out, I'm probably going to pose every day for 20 minutes a day. So instead of jumping into 20 minutes every day, which I think is not good, because it's just too much. As long as I get conditioned to do it, and then 8 weeks into the show, I'll do it. That's what I do. Other people might do it longer. I don't know. I really don't care what other people do. I just focus on what I could do.
Gotcha. So knowing what you know now, would your training have been different or the same?
I wouldn't have changed anything, because over the years I've trained with so many different types of styles and variations. If I never had shoulder surgeries and injuries, I probably would never have changed my workout. And I probably would never, you and I wouldn't be doing this podcast, all jokes aside, because I wouldn't have had that downfall. I wouldn't have been able to rebuild myself. So I had to figure out how to rebuild myself, not just because I was older, but because I was coming back from rotator cuff surgeries. So I just wasn't getting the same workouts. Like in 17 and 18, I was doing my old workouts. Well, I was going back, gravitating towards that. And I'm trying to think of, I can't remember the first program that I used. But I used a lot of workouts from Charles Poliquin,
Sure.
who passed away. He was a great coach. I had talked to him a couple of times in person. We talked about training styles and methods. And what I've done in the past, I wouldn't change anything, because it made who I am. And I've always had an open mind about how to train.
Yeah.
And I've always been one to let me try a certain way of training, and let me do it 100%, and I'll give it like 6 to 8 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So the style of training that I'm at now, I know it's my bread and butter, but then there's like a week or two when I go do something completely different just to get away from it. And sometimes that could be maybe a little lighter and doing some supersets and drop sets. But I'm probably training heavier now than I actually ever have.
Which is good.
Yeah, it's good, but the way I'm approaching it is enabling me to train heavier, where I'm doing like 3 to 4 sets of 5 reps, where I increase the weight on each rep, on each set.
Yep.
And then I'm at my heaviest weight, but I got so much gas left in the tank because I only did 5 reps to get there.
Yep.
That I can go to failure, and I'm having progress with it. So it's working.
Have you always been a superset guy, or is that something more recently? Because I see you doing a lot of supersets on posting superset stuff.
No, it's very infrequent. Like it's rare I do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I don't do it that much. Like tonight I did for legs. I did it.
Yeah.
And that was just, honestly, I after I was warming up, I was like, I just want to do something a little crazier today.
Yeah.
And I said, after we did single leg presses first, and then I said, let's load the weight up on the machine, and then we'll superset with the machine, the squat press that I did on the videos on Instagram. And the next thing we were going to do is we were going to do some hack squats, and the bar was available. I'm like, fuck it, let's squat with it. Let's go outside the box today. So I didn't go heavy. I just went slow and controlled, and got a great pump, and I was done.
Yeah.
That was it.
Okay. You brought up earlier loose skin belly fat. Let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, how does one? You can't beat genetics, but how does one try to get over that hump?
So Jimmy Mentis has a product from his company Beauty Fit called DEBUNK, and I use that before every workout, before every cardio session. However, that's just a little piece of the puzzle. So when I was coming back, I was not doing anything for like 3 years. You have to remember, I was really not training at all. And my diet was horrible. I wasn't eating very well. I was gaining a lot of body fat and belly fat.
Yeah.
My midsection was not great. And so when I started to diet down, I had a lot of loose skin.
Mm-hmm.
And the second year, it was still there. And I was dieting all wrong for me. Now, everything I'm about to say, this applies that I know experience for me. And I've had a couple of guys with experience in the same situation. My skin was so bad, it was just really loose. When I went into the Masters Pittsburgh Pro, I had my first real off season. After 2018, I realized I was not eating enough. So I went on a regular off season like binge just to eat
Okay.
everything in sight, because now I'm actually training again and I can apply those calories that I don't count to my training, right?
Yep.
So not to say I was eating bad food, but I was eating a lot of good food. And every now and again, you know, I ate whatever I wanted. The skin started getting tighter.
Mm-hmm.
And in 2019, it was minimal. And then through the years, it's become tighter and tighter. When I'm in shape and I'm on low carbs, my skin is really loose on my
Yep.
stomach. And then when I eat a little bit more, I have to find that happy medium where the skin gets tighter.
Sure.
But, you know, I never had that problem before. I'm 56 years old. You have to expect something to give,
Yeah.
you know? So it takes time, and it takes a lot of discipline to not give up and keep going with your diet, and keep going where you're increasing your food and decreasing your food, increasing and decreasing with carbohydrates,
Sure.
you know, to get the body fat off. And then you got to find your happy spot in the sense of where, okay, I could take in X amount of carbs for X amount of days and my skin gets tighter.
Yep.
You know, the skin just doesn't wrap over the quads or the biceps and shoulders. It will do it on the stomach too.
Okay.
It took a long time. It took a few years for me to get that going. But
Yeah. Okay.
yeah, I mean, it can be done.
Okay. I actually started using the beauty bum myself.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, but I'm still in fluffy mode. So a combination of the food and that things are coming a little bit, but I don't know if it's one or the other, but I figured nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Oh, no. Hey, you can't go wrong with this. It's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What else do I so do you feel less nervous before a show than when you were first competing?
I'm never nervous before a show.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm only nervous when I am at the steps about to walk out.
Okay.
And then once I'm on stage, it's like, all right, it's cool. We're here. Let's have
All
fun.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What is your favorite body part to train?
Legs and arms
Okay.
and back.
I was gonna say legs because I'd say most of the pictures that you post are always of your hams. If I had to pinpoint something, seriously.
You know, I was never known for having legs. My legs always lagged. And I guess I'm just very happy and proud that they actually came up. You know, it's funny because I had posted a reel today with those videos, and it like cut it off.
Okay.
And I deleted it, but I didn't save what I wrote, and I just then posted the video separately, but didn't put anything up in like a comment. I just put hashtags. We so often hear these expert trainers say, over the age of 40 or 50, you lose your legs, right? And it's not true. If you have the balls to train hard
Mm-hmm.
and nasty and just get in there and I'm not talking about putting 365 or 400 pounds on the bar, because when you're an older competitor, you shouldn't be doing that shit. You should be training
Yeah.
smarter. And a lot of time under tension and slow and controlled movements are what you need as an older competitor. There are some freaks out there. There are, and they train way heavier than I do, and they're having great success. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying across the board it doesn't work, but you got to be careful. I don't want to mention his name right now, but a friend of mine who's in the Olympia won't be entering the Olympia because he just tore his quad because he goes heavy.
Okay.
And I feel so horrible for him. He's down and out right now. You know, he's not going to get on the Masters Olympia stage because he went too deep. And I'm all about like shortening up that range of motion a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, you can grow your legs. I hear guys who talk about, you know, in their 50s, I can't grow my legs. Yes, you can. You just aren't approaching it the right way. You have to find I mean, Bulgarian split squats have been my bread and butter the last
Yeah.
couple of years. They're a bitch, man. Bulgarian split squats suck, but I probably do them at least every other workout. Barbell squats, you got to do them. You just got to do them, and you got to be uncomfortable when you're doing them. You can't just I can't tell you how many times I see somebody putting in a half-ass set and immediately picking up their phone, looking at their phone. What the fuck are you doing? Are you training? Are you bullshitting? And it's so frustrating. And people complain that they just don't get progress. Yeah, because you're not focused. But I'm resting in between sets. So what's the difference if I look at my phone? Because your head is not into the workout.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, fasted cardio, yes or no? What are your thoughts on fasted cardio?
I don't recommend it. I don't see any benefit in doing cardio first thing in the morning. Like I've done it to see if it works. And the only thing it does for me is make me completely exhausted for the rest of the day.
Okay.
So I save my cardio for after training.
Okay.
When I did it fasted, my condition wasn't any better.
Yep.
I think people just jump on the bandwagon and they're cool. They're posting videos of them doing 4 a.m. cardio. Who cares? You're not a brain surgeon here, dude, or women. Like you're not doing anything life changing. You're training for a bodybuilding contest, and the result should be getting ripped and big and hold on to most muscle as you can.
Yep.
And if you just jump on the bandwagon, you're not really a fan of the sport. You're just following the herd. And if you're a real true bodybuilding fan, you would listen to your own body and know that every other champion does what works for them. Don't follow the coaches online that don't know shit, that are teaching people who don't know shit. And that's really, and that's not even funny to me. I'm dead serious. There's so many people out there don't know what they're doing, but can sell. They could just sell their shit, and people are buying it. And fasted cardio is one of them. I mean, we never called it fasted cardio. There were people in the 90s that did cardio. We called it first thing in the morning. And, we didn't call it, we're doing fasted, yay. I'm cool. No.
Okay.
If you could do it and it works for you, then do it.
Yep. Okay.
If it doesn't work for you, don't do it. That's really the bottom line. It doesn't work for me.
Yep. Okay.
It makes me lethargic the whole day, and I can't think, and I'm too tired for my workouts. I would rather put all my 100% of my energy into my 45-minute, 60-minute training session, and then do my 20 or 30-minute cardio session according to what I have to do that day.
Okay. So to piggyback on that, what are your thoughts on these pros that are doing 1.5 to 2 hours of cardio for a show? Is it too extreme?
Well, sometimes you have to remember bodybuilders lie about everything they do.
Okay.
And that's the truth. Bodybuilders lie about everything they do because they don't want you to know what they're doing. And a lot of people, again, jump on the bandwagon and will say, I'm going to say this so that way I can get people to follow me, because a lot of new competitors think they have to do so many off the wall shit to get followers. And a person who's plain and simple, they're not getting the followers. I could give a crap if I get followers. I don't care. I'm doing the Olympia for me. I'm not doing the Olympia to be some social media star. Right? I'm not in it for that. I'm in it for a different reason. So I could care less. Like, you got to read between the lines. Are you really doing 2 hours? What are you, that fat? Come on. Yeah. I mean, then you had to have started your prep extremely out of shape to do 2 hours of cardio.
Yep.
It's or you're just so neurotic that you think you need to do it. But I think a lot of people lie. I think a lot of people bullshit. I don't believe it.
Okay.
I don't believe it, because bodybuilders lie about everything they do.
Well, I know
They
the weight's
do.
always the big lie, but when they talk about weight, I know that's the biggest lie.
No, they lie from their prep to the gear use to like everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a guy that takes minuscule amounts of steroids. I'm talking minuscule.
Yeah.
I know what he does. And he tells people he does exorbitant amount, so he fits in.
Oh, jeez.
And I say to him, why do you do that? You're teaching somebody something that's false. Well, that's what people do. So I go, no, you're lying to people. So, you know, we in the 90s, we lied too. So we would, even my friends, when we trained at Strong and Shapely, nobody told the truth. And we're all friends.
Oh, God. Here's one we kind of touched on a little bit. Jay DeVito, who I think you might know him. Do you cut out salt as you get closer to the show?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
That's disaster. So I use sea salt on all my meals, and all my clients use sea salt on all their meals. And we drink a lot of water. So you're drinking over a gallon of water a day, or maybe a little bit more, about a gallon and a half. There are people who have experimented and pulled the sodium out, and they look fantastic. You are taking, if your physique is mint and it's ready, and you're drinking a lot of water, and you have sodium in your diet via sea salt,
Mm-hmm.
and you pull that out to look better, there's a chance to look 10% better actually will look 20% worse.
Yeah.
So if you're going to experiment and you want to see what you look like, do it 4 weeks before a show.
Okay.
You're lean enough at 4 weeks out that you should be able to just experiment. That's when I think all experiments should be done, anywhere between 5 and 4 weeks out. Because if it backfires really bad, you have 4 weeks.
Yep.
So if you cut your water out and you say, okay, let me go from, because I've heard people like drinking no water from Thursday on, doing silly things that just make no sense.
Yep.
If you look mint by drinking, and you drink a lot of water, doing all this sodium, you're not sodium low. People will call it sodium loading, but if you're doing it your entire prep, you're not loading anything. That's just part of your prep.
It's normal, yeah.
Right, it's normal. And you look great, and you're dry, and you're hard. I think people look at themselves so much that they forget how hard they look. And then they get like crazy in the head thinking, I need to be harder.
Yeah.
Do your experimenting 4 or 5 weeks out, because if it backfires and it looks bad, you got 4 or 5 weeks to recover from that, because all you do is just put the nutrients back into the diet on Saturday or Sunday, and you know, okay, that didn't work. So we never had coaches per se. We had, like, Maz helped me, and he was a coach, but he was also like just my eyes. Like, if you would have talked to Maz, he would be like, it was so simple. We didn't do any of this crap that's being done today. Back in the day, we didn't use salt because that wasn't in vogue. But if we knew better, we would have added sodium to the diet if it made us better. We thought it was the enemy, but when it's not the enemy. Sodium, sodium from sea salt is really a game changer for a lot of people. It can make you look big and full and dense and hard. You pull that out, do it 4 weeks out, do it 5 weeks out.
Okay.
If it works, which sometimes it does, there's a timing.
Yeah.
There's this timeline that it'll work, because once you do it and you pull it out, you're going to visibly look amazing. And then you're going to start to hold water, because the body's looking for water. And what class are you in? Are you in men's classic? Are you in men's physique? Are you in bodybuilding? When do you think you're going to get on stage? There's a whole timing shitload of stuff that needs to be taken into consideration. If you don't think about that when you make these changes, a lot of things could backfire. I'm not the kind of I don't like things that backfire. I just go in safe as possible. I would rather my clients hold a snitch of water and stand next to somebody who manipulated everything and now they're flat and all messed up.
Yep.
my guys look like my nephew won the over 40 Masters Classic and took second to an amazing competitor, and in the Open. And my client Jack this past weekend won the juniors. He won the true novice. He took second in the novice. And Juan did great for his first time in bodybuilding. He's usually a classic competitor.
Okay.
He took fifth in the over 35. And none of them. Jack was like, Vin, when do I take my sodium out? I'm like, you're not. Okay. Like he didn't know. So because he was hearing shit on social media. And I was very fortunate that Jack listened to me. You know, and that's another thing. The younger guys, I have a hard time having them actually listen to me because they could say, "Oh, Vinny's theories are outdated," you know, and this is what this guy does.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
So we'll go two more and we'll wind down here. This is not a question for me. This is from a friend. I'm not setting you up, but he said, "What are your top priorities for training Sean for his show?" I'm being serious. I did not make this one up.
So that's simple. Listen, it's my approach is going into the gym to create something, to create a physique. To go into the gym, everybody should go into the gym with the idea of making their physique better.
Yep.
When you only have the mindset to go in and get better, bigger, you just become a bigger version of what you are. But if you can really analyze yourself, and which we've done with pictures and stuff, I said, there's certain things you got to hit in the gym. You got to train a certain way, right? And diet a certain way. So we got to bring up certain body parts. And one of them I told you was your legs. You got to do a certain way of training. So we're not going in like, okay, try to squat 400 pounds. We're going to do certain exercises to build and bring up your legs. So for you or anybody else, it's really the same answer. It's creating a great physique by focusing on becoming better. And in turn, you're going to get bigger. But if you only just get bigger, the weak body parts never become better.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Complete.
Yeah.
And last one here, and we'll let you get on to your meal for the night. What win meant the most to you?
What win meant the most to me? Well, the night I won my Masters Nationals to earn my pro card after 16 years, I cried like a baby, you know.
But that didn't hit you at first, though, because I remember you saying, "Oh, I'm doing the Nationals next month or whatever."
Well, I said that while I was still at the show.
Yeah.
You know, but then when I got back to my hotel room, it just hit me. It just hit me like a wave, and I started crying. But I mean, there's been shows that I didn't win that meant a lot to me also, because I brought a great package to the stage. And that's what I think you have to understand. If you bring your best, it doesn't mean you're going to win. It just means you brought your best and you just went against somebody who was better than you that day.
Sure.
I have not brought my best and I've won shows. So if you go in with a healthy and realistic attitude, you're always winning.
Yep.
You know, we can't always come in first place, but we can win. We can win the day. And I know that sounds so cliche, but if you just go in with the attitude of, I want to be better than I was the last time. I want to improve. I want to look great. Really, that's all we could ask for. The 7 judges or 5 judges on the panel, that's irrelevant to me. That's just an opinion. You know, look, I know what I'm up against going into the Olympia. I'm hoping I can crack the top 10. I hope I crack top 5. I'm going there with the attitude to win, though. I'm going there with every training session. I am going to win. I am going to make it a headache for these guys, for them to beat me.
Yep.
I need to go in with that attitude, because then I can't approach my workouts, and I'll approach them like with no enthusiasm. And I have to go in thinking this is going to be an epic workout. This is going to be a great workout. Oh my God, I'm training for the Masters Olympia right now. This is fun. This is great. You know,
is it still weird to hear yourself saying that?
Yeah.
That I'm going to the Masters Olympia.
Yeah, really.
All right.
It's
Well, Vin, anything else?
I
This
can get
hour
emotional. It's
this
like,
hour has just flown by. Great questions for everybody, which thank you so much. Is there
thank you.
anything else as you wind down here, buddy?
Just keep watching my Instagram at Vinny Galante _. I'm gonna keep posting my training videos. I don't post my entire workout because then that would just take away from the workout. I post just a set or two. And usually I just let guys know that everything I post is my actually last set. So what you see is like the fourth set of something.
Okay.
And I got actually a lot of feedback from that one little video I did of me winging a posing routine. And I'm going to do some more of those. I'm literally just going to pick a song and wing it and just have fun with it and just, but I'm going to stay covered because I can't give too much away.
You don't be like Nick Walker posting, semi nudes every day now. Anyway, I know we'll leave it on that note. As always, folks, we appreciate you tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. If there's any guests that you want us to bring on, let us know. And as always, thank you so much for tuning in to the Masters Muscle Podcast. Have a great night.
Thanks, guys.